Boys and girls, today we are on page 381. 381 of the iReady book, and we are going to be talking about common denominator. In your own words, what does it mean? All right, so when two or more fractions have the same denominators. They have a common denominator. You say, well, what does that mean? All right, so we're going to do an illustration of what that looks like, okay? So I'm going to get some color pencils out. Give me a second. I'm going to get a color pencil. I'm going to use, purple. No, pink. Pink looks good. All right, so here is my first illustration. I have a bar of a whole, and I'm going to separate this bar into a third, right? So I am going to say, here comes pink. I'm going to shade the pink in to 1/3. Here's my illustration, 1/3. 1 out of 3. And I'm going to compare the next bar of fractions of a whole as well. This is my whole bar. And this bar, I have a half. I'm comparing that with a half. So as you can see, the denominators are not the same, even though you say, Ms. Hua, but you told us that as long as the tops are the same, the smaller the bottom, the bigger the pie. I said, yeah, that's true. But, in math, you actually have to work it out. So here on the top one, I'm going to have to multiply this, my illustration. I'm going to have to figure out how do I make this into that. So I'm going to multiply this times 2 over 2 because I'm multiplying the other person's denominator, whole denominator. And then I multiply this with this other person's denominator, which is 3 over 3, right? So over here, I'm going to separate this into every half. I separate them into 3 parts. 1, 2. This is what I'm doing. 3 parts. 1, 2, 3. And I multiply that by 2, I end up with 3 out of 6. You can see 1, 2, 3 out of 6 parts. And on the top, I said, okay, for every 3 on the bottom, I'm going to cut that by 2 again. So here's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So look, 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Now my denominators are the same. I can compare to see which one is bigger. Obviously, if you look at the model, you see how we worked it out. The 1/2 is bigger than 1/3. Okay? There's my illustration. Now you say, Ms. Hua, what else? Give me another example. I say, sure, I'll give you another example, of course. So I can say 2/5, 2/3. 2/5, 3. This is a 3. It looks like a sad 3, but it's a 3/5. And 4/5 all have a common denominator. The word D means below, okay? Of 5, right? They all have a common denominator of 5. And now you can compare to see which one goes bigger, smaller, or medium. Now, you say, what the heck is a non-example? A non-example is if you have 2 bars and you break this into 5 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, and you shade in 2 parts. You say, okay, this is 2/5. And I want to compare this to the next whole bar. And with this next whole bar, I'm going to cut this into 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. And I shade this 2 pieces. I say I'm going to compare that. This is going to be 2/3. Well, this is a non-example because the bottoms are not the same. You notice the denominator, one is a 5 and one is a 3. So it's a non-example unless you change the bottom with the denominators are the same. Therefore, you become the example. Okay? A non-example means that, if you don't have the same pieces, you can't compare. That's a non-example. So let me look on here.